5 hours later.
When is my food coming? Oh, I have an idea. Cheers!
This is Sushi Go, provided to us by GameRacked. It's a short 2 to 5 player card game all about creating the best sushi dinner. So, you're at a Japanese restaurant, but not one of the high-end ones. It's the one with those dreaded convenient boats zipping food around and you struggling to get the food. Your goal: take the good dishes before your friends can get it. Each player will be dealt a hand of cards with different kinds of sushi, and you have to choose the cards to get the most points, with different combinations of cards giving you a different amount of points. But there's a catch. After each round, you'll pass your hand to the next player and receive the hand from the player to your left, which really changes how the game works. Each card does a different action, and here are just some of them. Nigiri. There are 3 different types of nigiri, each worth a different amount of points, but you get 3 times the points if you pick up some wasabi first. I guess the creators thought that wasabi makes the nigiri taste better. I wonder how in the world they thought that. Sorry, but wasabi just ain't it. Sashimi comes best in 3s. Anything less than that is not enough for a delicious dish, so you just get 0 points. And anything above that is redundant, unless you get another set of 3, obviously. But if you do get 3, you get 10 whole points. Maki rolls are all about comparison. You only score points if you have the most or second most amount of maki rolls. And pudding is for dessert. It's kept to be enjoyed at the very end of the game. And if you have the most, you score points, but it's also a staple, which means that if you are missing dessert, you lose points. The lesson of the day is, like exploding kittens, not the intent of the game. But the lesson that is in Sushi Go is still really interesting. The game's tension is premised off of deciding whether you want to pick that specific card this turn, or if you wait for it to come around again in the next turn. That means that the lesson of the game is timing. Timing is applicable everywhere in life, from getting the shortest checkout line to winning the Olympics, to investing in stocks, even getting in line to vote. But spoiler alert, you'll need to line up a day early. Timing is everything. Now, back to the review. The first thing that you notice is the artwork, which is nice and fits the little cute box and its theme. But what I'd really like to talk about is the tension, especially when there's more than 2 players. Because there's always a tension between getting yourself the most points and preventing your fellow diners from getting the most points. For example, if you grab another nigiri, you get a ×3 bonus, but then you pass on the sashimi, which gives the person to your left a bunch of points. But if I take the sashimi, which is with 0 points on me, then the guy on the right will be ahead. There's also the pressure of timing. Timing is everything. Such as whether you want to take an additional maki roll to pull ahead in the maki roll arms race, or another pudding to pull ahead in puddings. That complements well with the tension between sabotaging and helping yourself, because how you choose when to take a card is affected by what cards you think your opponents will take, who's affected by the tension that was described above. On top of that, there's the counting cards aspect of the game. Eventually, you'll have seen every card that are in the hands. But even before that, you can make guesses at the number of cards left in the other hands. However, people can't usually remember perfectly, so there's always those times when you're wondering, is there another sashimi? All these come together to turn this short and sweet game into one with difficult decisions that feel so gratifying when you make the right choice, but also forgiving if you don't, because there's always that big bit of luck involved, such as what card the opponent takes, which means you can't beat yourself up over it. There's also so many other decisions to make during the game to make it up, as there's so many cards that you have to go through, and the fact that the game is so short makes it forgiving as well. This game is a staple in our board game cabinet. But wait! This game is not perfect. Even as a 15-year-old, my memory isn't perfect, and with the previous recording, I haven't played the game in a while, so I've looked back upon it with rose-tinted lenses. But after playing the game again, one thing I found is that there's not enough interactions. Yes, you're affected by the choices of others, but not that much. I found that my turn is just comprised of looking at my own hand, choosing the best one, and then just passing over the hand. I didn't really care or have the time to look at what others have played unless it affected a combination that I was going for. Unlike Exploding Kittens, where you have to engage your opponents and respond to their attacks, in Sushi Go it just doesn't really matter. Yes, what your opponents play do somewhat affect you, but it's more like solitaire than Texas Hold'em. You compare the points at the end, but during the game it feels like everyone is just trying to maximize their own points and figure out their own individual little puzzle, instead of one where you're engaging with your opponents. So this game is a fun test of your ability in calculating and deciding the best card to play, but it's not really fit if you want lots of interactions, which is usually what people expect from board games. Thanks for watching and Happy New Year!